Welcome. This channel is a home for our stories, which I dedicate to my daughter, Angeline. If you enjoy our work, you can support this creative journey by subscribing and liking this channel. For those who wish to offer deeper support, you can visit my Patreon at Yap Eves. Every bit of your support is immensely meaningful and helps sustain this channel. Thank you and God bless you.
In the perpetually overcast town of Drake, nestled in a valley where the sun was a forgotten rumor, stood Gloom Peak. Its summit was always shrouded in thick gray clouds. The town's legend said that a fallen star, the last glimmer, was hidden up there, but no one had ever found it. The climb was too treacherous, the path too vague.
One afternoon, feeling particularly defeated, Anya wandered into a quiet part of the harbor. There, tucked between warehouses, was a small, sun-bleached studio. Inside, an old boatmaker named Elias was at work. He was known throughout the city for crafting the most beautiful and seaworthy fishing boats, each one a unique work of.
Her mind was a cacophony of critics. She heard the voice of her old art teacher, the opinions of other painters she admired, and her own relentless comparison of her work to the masterpieces she saw in galleries. Because of this, her paintings felt stiff, full of hesitation, and she hadn't finished one she was proud of in months.
Anya watched in awe as his aged, weathered hands moved with a sure and steady rhythm, sanding a piece of wood. There was no hesitation, only a deep, focused flow. Gathering her courage, Anya approached him. "Master Elias," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "my hands are unsure. My mind is so loud with doubt that I cannot create. How do you work with such certainty?" Elias paused, setting down his sanding block. He looked at Anya, then at her paint-stained fingers. He smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "The problem is not in your hands, but in your audience," he said. "Come, I have a task for you." He led her to a corner of his workshop, where a small, unfinished rowboat sat. He handed her a brush and a can of rich blue paint. "This boat needs a coat," he said, "but there is one rule." Anya leaned in, expecting a complex technique. "What is it?" she asked. "You must not paint for anyone's eyes but your own. Not for me, not for a critic, not for a buyer. Pretend the boat will be launched into the sea the moment you finish, and no one will ever see your work again. Paint only for the joy of the brush in your hand and the color on the wood." Anya was puzzled, but she agreed. She dipped her brush and began. At first, the old voices whispered in her mind, "Is the stroke even? Is the color right?" But then she remembered the rule. She focused on the simple sensation, the smooth glide of the bristles, the smell of the paint, the transformation of the pale wood into a deep oceanic blue. She lost track of time. She wasn't painting a masterpiece. She was simply painting. She noticed the beautiful grain of the wood and followed its patterns. She smiled as the sun warmed her back. The critical voices faded away, replaced by the quiet hum of focus. When she finally set the brush down, the small boat gleamed under the studio lights. Elias came over and inspected her work. He didn't praise the perfection of the lines, but he nodded with approval. "Tell me, did you think about the gallery owner who rejected your work last month?" Anya blinked in surprise. "No, I didn't," she said, realizing it was true. "I didn't." "And what about the other painters you are always comparing yourself to?" I forgot about them," Anya admitted, a wave of understanding washing over her. Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. "The creativity you seek is not out there in the opinions of others. It is right here," he tapped her heart, "but you can only hear it when you silence the crowd. True art is a conversation between you and your creation, and no one else is invited." Anya looked at the freshly painted boat, and then at her own hands, now steady and sure. She hadn't just painted a boat, she had found a key. The piece she needed to create had been inside her all along, waiting for her to stop listening to the noise and start listening to the work itself. She thanked Elias with a full heart. As she walked back to her own studio, the city sounds seemed different. Not a distraction, but a symphony. She was eager to pick up her brush, not to prove anything to the world, but simply to see what would happen when she painted for an audience of one.